welcome to Alongside Lauren. I'm Lauren and I'm so glad that we get to spend a little bit of time together on this Sunday afternoon preparing a few bits and pieces that will hopefully make life in this coming week just that little bit easier. I am really inspired and really excited about this week's meal. We are going to be dining on a slow roasted pork shoulder using some Greek inspiration and some Aussie botanicals. We've also are going to be preparing an enormous amount of roast vegetables that we're going to be eating alongside it because I can't help myself. If there's an opportunity for me to have salad, whether it's roasted or not, I'm absolutely there, much to my husband's displeasure. Well, he says so, but I reckon he secretly loves a roasted Brussels sprout. As do I, actually. I'm a big fan of the roasted Brussels sprouts. Anyway, enough about me and time to get onto the marinade for our pork. So I'm going to make, I guess, a souvlaki kind of adjacent marinade. And I say marinade, but it's really just going to be the flavouring paste that I'm going to pop onto the bottom part of the pork roast. Not the crispy bit. The crispy bit we reserve for salt and olive oil. And this is my secret roasted vegetable loving husband. Well, no, he's not a secret. We've been married for quite some time now. Most people know about that. But I mean, you pretend that you don't like all the vegetables I serve you. But I know that secretly you love them.
Well, they're delicious in moderation.
Which means not in the amounts that I've got.
When you have a bowl of salad for breakfast, like a bowl,
yeah,
that's kind of pushing it. But
yeah, look, that's fair. Yeah. So I have got here six garlic cloves. It was supposed large garlic cloves, and it was supposed to be 5, but I decided to do 6 because reasons. So I'm going to pop all of this into the Thermomix. Now, don't be alarmed. The Thermomix has had some stuff in it. I sautéed some mushrooms before, and I don't want to get rid of all that flavour, so the mushroom flavour is going to go in there. Now, I've got here as well a very large amount of roast vegetables that we chopped earlier. And a couple of weeks ago, so normally when I roast vegetables, I would be, carefully doing the hard sort of root vegetables first, and then going through and adding the softer vegetables like our Brussels sprouts and our onion and capsicum in a little bit later on because they don't need as long a time. And I made some roast veg a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of layered it. So I put the soft veg on the bottom, so that all kind of steamed and was protected from getting burned by the root vegetables that were on top. Cooked it all sort of for the same amount of time, and it was really tasty and so much more convenient than having to muck around and remembering to put the other veg back in. So I'm going to give it another go. So we've got here a mix of Brussels sprouts in there, some zucchini, capsicum, a whole heap of onion. I've also got the leaves from a cauliflower because they are perfectly edible, if not a bit uninspired. But I reckon that sort of slow braising roasting approach will work really well. So I'm just adding in now the oregano and some parsley. I haven't done it for ages, but I actually quite enjoy parsley with roast veg. I think it's really nice.
And it's nice that we're able to collect our rosemary and parsley and things like that from, well, the parsley at least from the garden.
Yeah, and the oregano.
Oregano, rather.
So, our veggie patch and herb garden definitely need a little bit of love, but that's all right. We'll get there. Alrighty, so I'm going to pop in a little bit more oregano in here, and I'm also going to add in some dried oregano. Just because the flavour will be a little bit more concentrated. So I guess was kind of inspired to make this dish because I had bought some lemon myrtle marinated feta cubes and they were amazing. And I'd remembered that I had a bit of a stock of Aussie botanicals that I bought at sort of various food shows and what have you, and that I keep meaning to use them and just hadn't. And I wasn't quite sure what sort of flavour profile to work with. So I kind of figured that the lemon myrtle has kind of got some of those citrusy notes in it, hence the lemon in the lemon myrtle. And that's why I thought that perhaps something with some Greek-inspired flavouring would work really well. Sort of thinking along the feta lines. I've actually used up all the feta, so we're just going to be using the olive oil that the marinated feta came in. And this is a tip from my cousin. Shout out to Robin. She keeps the small garlic cloves that you can't be bothered to peel, and then she uses them when she does like yummy roast garlicky potatoes and just pops them in whole. Doesn't bother about peeling them. And then they're like little magical parcels of garlicky goodness that kind of bestow their flavour on the veggies that are around them. And they're nice little cook's treats when it comes time to serve, which is perfect. So what I am going to add in with the garlic and the oregano is a little bit of lemon zest and the lemon juice. I did a bit of a zest yesterday and managed to get a little bit of my pinky knuckle as well. So
Ooh.
Let's try not to do that.
Never a nice thing to do.
Ooh.
Good looking lemon.
Yeah, and there's definitely like a good amount of oils in the skin, and I don't know, like you wouldn't have been able to see it, but the first time that I zested it, you could see the oils like sort of spraying away, which is always a good sign. Now I'm going to just get this ready to squeeze. That's our little tip. You sort of give it a roll on the bench, and that helps to squish down all of those membranes. Squeeze that lemon. These haven't been particularly juicy lemons, but that's alright. You don't need a heap because it's not a full marinade, and because we're roasting the pork slowly, there'll be plenty of time for those flavours to meld in. They are also seedy, so you've got to keep your wits about you when you're pouring the lemon juice in. Lemon pips really are the pits. That was so lame. I love that you didn't even dignify that with a response. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not fake chuckling at that. We've been married too long. I have to be polite about your bad jokes now. It's fair. I'm also going to add in some cumin and ground coriander. Because I bought a lifetime supply of ground coriander during COVID and I'm still using it up.
But what it means is now we have to use it in like double doses.
Yeah, because
it's
old.
lost its potency.
Yeah.
But that's alright.
That's okay.
No big deal. It was still a bargain.
It was.
With such a huge amount of cumin. It has been the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was $5 for a kilo of coriander, but it was a kilo of coriander.
Whole kilo of dry coriander. Imagine how much that was in, like, fresh coriander.
Many lots. And 1 tablespoon of cumin. One of my favourite spices. Okay, now to add a little bit of citrusy flair, we're going to add in some Kakadu plum powder.
Ooh.
It's been freeze dried.
Oh.
If you wanna. So that's the colour of it. That's the colour there.
Yeah, right. It's surprisingly yellow, isn't it? Like almost a mustardy colour.
And it does smell plummy, but probably more citrusy than sweet.
Huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons worth of lemon zest. So I'm going to add in addition to the zest of the 1 lemon that we've added, 1 teaspoon of the
Kakadu plum.
Kakadu plum.
Nice. Very exciting.
I've also got here some Tasmanian pepperberries.
Ah.
They smell like, to me, it kind of smells like gin. Like there's a real warmth to it, but it's quite similar to like juniper berry,
Yep.
I guess.
So if you pour some out on your hand or something, what do they look like?
They look like almost like little pepper berries, but bigger.
Yeah, but a bit larger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to add in some of those.
Pop them in. Nice. This is getting fully blitzed, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So no need to panic. And we're also going to add in, of course, old favourite.
Wouldn't be a meal without it.
It wouldn't. Veggie stock concentrate, fresh from yesterday. This is a particularly lurid green batch. I think there's a lot of broccoli. And a reasonable amount of asparagus stem.
Cool.
And we've got here the oil that was used for the lemon myrtle marinated feta.
Ah, I see.
So I'm just going to give that a bit of a stir so we can get some of the lemon myrtle in there. And add in 2 tablespoons.
It's basically lemon myrtle infused.
Infused olive oil, effectively.
Nice. That's a cool idea.
So I'm completely flying by the seat of my pants with this, or by the seat of my floaty dress. But why not?
Yeah, why not?
So we'll give that a bit of a blitz. I've been slow roasting tomatoes for our
nice
breakfast as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They're coming along nicely, but they need a bit more.
Need another hour.
Whoa.
Well, I found 2 hours at 140 degrees in the air fryer seems to work really well. So if it ain't broke.
Sure.
A bit of chili with the roast veg, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. We like it a little bit spicy. Oh, you're going to drizzle the oil.
So I'm going to...
What a great use of it. I reckon a lot of people would just throw that out, that oil.
It's just flavour, hey?
Yeah. And reasonably quality oil, no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. I like it.
And a good amount of salt.
Hefty.
I thought a bit of chili would be a fun time.
This is a very potent chili, so we use it sparingly.
Yeah, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but that is still going to be enough for us to go, hoo-wee doggy. So...
I'm going to guess that was pretty hot. Well done.
Oh, actually, no.
After all that?
After all of that,
Yeah.
the oven is preheating to 220 for the pork, so that's just going to be
too hot.
A little bit too hot for the veg.
So pop them in a bit later. Okay, well, good job considering. The beauty of doing things live. Easy.
Yeah. That was really well planned on my part. We had quite a fun night, just sort of getting a few bits and pieces prepared last night for our dinner. And we made a recipe that I have been wanting to make for months. And it was Donna Hayes' one-pan undone lasagna. So what it is you kind of make a really, really lazy bolognese, and you only sort of let it simmer for 40 minutes. And then you've got, I'll just give it a bit of a mix down. And then you
get
sheets of fresh lasagna, fresh lasagna sheets, I should say, because otherwise sheets of fresh lasagna, that's a whole other thing. And you kind of cut it up into strips, and then just sort of fold it into the.
You make little balls, don't you?
Well, and
almost
kind of fold it into the bolognese, and you add extra stock to it, so it kind of cooks there in the pan, and then.
And the pan's a big round pan, right?
A nice big sort of saute pan, and then dollop it with, the recipe said mascarpone, which we didn't have. And we used a mixture of ricotta that I made with some cream cheese and some parmesan, and it was so good. It was
very good.
So much nicer than what I expected it to be, because normally making lasagna is quite a ordeal. Makes it sound very dramatic, but there's a lot of process to it, and it's one of those things that good luck to you if you decide to make lasagna on a weeknight and intend to eat it that night. That's quite a bold undertaking, and you could maybe do it if you were working from home, instead of using your lunch break for it. But yeah, it was really, really delicious. And we also just sort of prepped some chicken wings for our church.
Yeah.
Sort of fellowship lunch as well, which was really good. So the chicken wings I had scored on sale, and so they were $2.09 for 2 kilos, which was amazing. And just did salt and pepper because it works with most of our dietary requirements that we have sort of for consideration.
Yeah, and we have quite a few of those, don't we? Yes.
So that worked out really.
Why don't we take a look at some of these things? Great. Some of the things you've been up to.
So here's the chicken wings. Salt, pepper in the oven, and they were delicious, allegedly. I didn't actually eat any. But this is me adding the ricotta cheese mix to the top of our undone one-pan lasagna. You can see that it is sort of quite a runny bolognese just with those lasagna sheets in there. And we just dollop it, and then it just went into the grill for sort of 10 minutes so that all of those beautiful little morsels of beautiful cheese, as me trying not to burn myself under the very hot grill. And there you have it. One pan undone lasagna. And that was dinner for last night, and we'll also do lunches for a couple of days this week.
It was delicious. Yeah, we got 6 meals out of it. We've only had 2 of those so far, and it was outstanding.
I was so happy, and we had it with a really, really big salad and quite a nice wine that Heath had been gifted by a colleague, which was really special.
It was really good. So, one of the annoying things about lasagna is it is many, many pots and many things all going on at once. But
yes, it is very dishes intensive.
The cool thing about this version is you can do it all in one pot, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and so I'd made ricotta just using some milk that was getting close to expiry.
Perfect.
So yeah, it just made it even better from that perspective as well.
Oh, right.
So I've got here our roast pork. I think it's just under 3 kilos worth. So that's a lot of pork.
That is a big boy.
A big
just
boy.
for 2 of us.
Yes. So
Yes.
what will most likely end up happening as I go hunting for my poultry shears.
Which don't exist. I don't have a clue where our poultry shears are right now.
Oh, that's going to take forever. That's all right.
How about I get you a knife? Sorry. Or are you getting through them?
I'm getting through
You
it.
gonna stick at it?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Can you get me the roasting tray that's next to the oven, though?
Of course.
So we're going to take the net off.
I thought you said neck, but you said net.
Yes.
I'm pleased you said net.
Yes. Neck would be creepy.
Yeah. That's quite the shoulder. If it includes a neck.
We're going to just unfurl that a little bit.
Right. So you've turned it upside down. And opened it right up.
Right up.
Hmm.
And
And all of your different seasonings.
that's all sort of blended in really nicely. Can you do me a favour, hun? And just grab me a white wine that we probably won't love. Like a Chardonnay or something. Or like maybe like the yellow blend Chardonnay.
Yeah, a cheaper. I can do that.
And I'll just get that flavour into the underside. We do have quite the collection of wine. And we don't tend to buy wine that we don't love. So me giving Heath the instruction
I am
of
shaking my head.
find a white wine that we don't love that we're happy to use for cooking is not a fair task.
That is very unfair.
Poor Heath. I've really just given him such a difficult task to manage this afternoon. But I have every faith that he's going to be successful in his quest. So the key to having good crackling is to have the skin as dry as we can and have a good amount of salt and a little bit of oil. Do you want to swap out and do you want me to go hunting, huh? I really have given him a difficult task.
no matter what, I'm going to be sad to...
Oh no, not the Rod East Hope. It's
We
Hawke's
have-
Bay, it's okay.
We have 2 bottles
Alright.
of it. And so if we decide that it's really nice, do you need me to open
I
it?
can't open it.
Or try to?
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah. We have 2 bottles of it, so we can give it a whirl, see how it goes. Oh, okay, so what have you gotten up to while I was away?
I sort of
It looks
pasted
like
it on.
You wiped it all over.
And there's a little, yeah, I did that. And there's but because the skin wasn't fully on top, I've also just added some to the exposed bits on top.
But you've turned it up right so that the crackling can start to form,
Yep.
hopefully.
So what I'm going to do is we just need to add in 2 cups of white wine to the tray while it roasts.
Mm-hmm.
Just to try and keep that meat nice and tender. And so because I want to make sure that I have got every Skerica flavour out of that, I'm just going to give that a quick wipe down.
I will put this in the fridge so that we can decide if it was a very, very bad choice or not. And by very bad choice, I just mean that we should have drunk it instead. Who knows?
All good.
Is white wine and pork typical? You wouldn't put red wine because it's not a red meat?
Well,
Is that kind of the way it works?
you could do a light one, but I just think with the flavourings, it's just not...
Yeah.
It's probably the wrong flavour profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to shift that over a little bit. Add a bit of olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
Which really does feel like it's gilding a lily. And put like a lot of salt on.
Oh, wow. That is a lot of salt. Does the salt dry it out?
It will, and it just sort of really helps with encouraging that crispiness with the...
Because achieving good crackling is sort of a...
There is a certain art to it, but it's also not something you need to be stressed about.
But it's something that people strive for.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so you've got a blended up lot of...
White wine and the rest
so you're
of
just
the...
pouring it in the bottom corner so that it's underneath, because we've got a little rack.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hot?
It is a bit hot.
Oh.
Okay, so we got the oven preheated to 220. We're putting that straight in. Putting the veg in under it.
Nice.
And then we're immediately turning the oven down to 160. That pork is going to roast for about 3 hours, and we're going to hopefully have beautiful, succulent, tender pork with those amazing Australian botanicals and a truly delicious roasted vegetable side featuring lemon myrtle infused oil as well. I have had so much fun playing with Australian botanicals this afternoon while I'm preparing myself for the week so that I'm able to indulge in something delicious, nutritious and satisfying without having to lift a finger. And I can't wait to do it all again next week on Alongside Lauren.